Hey guys, today we are going to do word problems with our piecewise functions. So with this unit, we will explore a situation. By the end of the lesson, will be able to write the equations, graph the equations as a piecewise function, and then answer some questions about what we graphed. So our first example, we have a truck driver who earns $21 per hour for the first 40 hours worked in 1 week. The driver earns time and a half, or $31.50, for each hour worked in excess of 40, so each hour over 40. The pair of function rules below represent the driver's wage, which is represented as W of H, as a function of the hours worked in 1 week, which is going to be shown as H for hours. So this is the piecewise function that goes with this situation. Okay? We have 21H if if my hours are in between 0 and 40, being equal to 40. And then we have 31.5H minus 420 if our hours are more than 40. Okay, so let's explore this a little bit. So let's fill in our hours worked based off of what H is. So like we did with evaluating, when we have a value for H, we have to figure out which equation it's going to get plugged into. I can't plug it into both, it only works for one. So since here we have H equals 10, okay, well 10 is in between 0 and 40. So we're going to plug it into this equation. So I'm going to do 21 times 10, which gives us $210, okay? The next one is 30. 30 also is in between 0 and 0 and 40. So I'm going to do 21 times 30, and that gives me $630 for the week. 35 is also in between 0 and 40, so we're going to do 21 times 35, which gives me $735. Next, we have equals to 40. So notice they both have 40 in their domain restrictions, but the first one's allowed to be equal to 40, right? Equal to 40. So we're going to plug it into the top equation again. So 21 times 40 gives us $840. My last one, 52.5 hours, that is bigger, right, than 40 hours. So we're going to plug it into this equation. So we're going to do 31.5 times 52.5, and then subtract 420 from that. And that is going to give me $1,233.75. All right. So in my equation here, it made sense that we had the 31.5H, right? Because it said anything after 40 hours, I get time and a half, which is $31.5 per hour, okay? What does this minus 420 come from? Okay, so look at our table. Where do you think minus 420 comes from? 420 is half of 840, right? We got time and a half. So I'm making $31.5 an hour, but I can't make it for all my hours. I can only do it for the hours past 40. So I have to subtract the $420 from my beginning of my 40 hours because I can't make time and a half on the first 40. I can only make time and a half on the hours after 40. Okay. Now we're going to graph. Okay. So we have our wages as my y's. We have hours over here for my x-axis. Okay. And we're going to plot those points that we just had. So we have 10 and 210. So about right here. We have 30 and 630. It's about right here, right? Ish. There is 35 and 735. There was 40 and 840. And then we had 52.5, that right here, and about 1200-ish. Okay. And it's not on there, but if I don't work any hours, I'm not going to make any money. So these will always start at the origin. Okay. All right, now when I go to graph this, there's a cut at 40, right? 40 is where they're going to overlap each other. So I got to be careful. Okay, over here when we reach to 40. So I'm going to connect these together. When I reach the point of 4840, it is closed, right? My next line, though, is going to start there with an open circle and then continue to do that slope. You might notice that part of my graph is steeper because we're making more money, okay? So if I had asked you, hey, how much money are they going to make if they work 60 hours a week, you could look at the graph or you could look at your equations. 40 hours, if you plug it into any of the equations, honestly, you get the same answer because they're meeting at the same point, okay? We use the table to compare wages. Remember, you can always use the T tables also to get some more points on your graph and get a clearer view. All right, let's do another one. All right, we have a dog groomer. He charges according to your dog's weight. If your dog is 50 pounds and under, the groomer charges $35. If your dog is between 15 and 40 pounds, she charges $40. And if your dog is over 40 pounds, she charges $40 plus an additional $2 for each pound over 40. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write a piecewise function. So piece functions, we always start off as saying f of x equals, you know that. Okay. I notice that I have three different scenarios here. We have 15 pounds and under, right? Between 15 and 40, and then over 40, this one. Okay, so there's three rules that we have to write equations for. All right, the first rule, if your dog is 15 pounds and under, the groomer charges $35. Instead of X, I'm going to use W just because of weight. It's going to help me see it better. So the weight of the dog is 15 pounds under. I'm not just going to say my weight has to be under 15. We has to also be bigger than 0, right? Well, it can't be equal to 0 because it doesn't exist. So for a dog to exist, it has to be above 0 pounds. So between 0 and 15 pounds, our dog groomer charges me $35 flat. It's a flat fee. So it's just $35. Okay. If our dog is in between 15 and 40 pounds, okay, so now we're in between 15 and 40. We're allowed to be equal to 40. I can't be 15 because 15 was included in my last price range. If we're between 15 and 40 pounds, she charges me a flat rate of $40. If your dog weighs over 40 pounds, so we're not equal to, it's over 40 pounds, she charges you the flat rate of $40 plus $2 for each pound over 40. So we're going to do our weight minus 40. Because that shows how much over 40 the dog is. So if your dog weighs 47 pounds, you're going to charge $40, and then you're going to do 2 times 7, because it was 7 pounds over 40. Does that make sense? So you got to do the difference between the weight of the dog and the 40 pounds, because that shows the additional charge. Okay? You can leave it written like this if you want to. If you want to simplify that, I'll do it over here. If you want to do 40 plus 2w minus 40, and you want to distribute that 2, and then simplify, 40 minus 80 gives me negative 40. You could use this equation also. It's up to you. You're an honors class, so I'm going to let you decide how you want to write that last equation. You can leave it exactly how it is right now, or you can distribute and simplify and use 2w minus 40 as well. All right, we are now going to graph this function. So my first line is in between 0 and 15, right? 15 It's right here. So between 0 and 15 pounds, it's a flat rate of $35. The $35 is right here in the middle. Okay. Next, between 15 and 40 pounds, now it is $40. So we're going to hop up. $40. Go over here. What was it? 40 pounds? 40-pound dog right here. And then our last little bit is going to be, so we met at the 40. Anything over 40 is going to be $40, excuse me, plus the $2 for each additional pound. This is where I'm going to make a tea table personally. Okay, let's see here. So we can use 2W minus 40. This is only for a weight that's bigger than 40, so we're going to start at 40. Let's do 45, and let's do 50, like that. All right, 2 times 40 is 80. 80 minus 40 is 40, so that's where we start. Remember, this is going to be an open circle, like that. Next, plug in 45. 2 times 45 is 90. 90 minus 40 is 50, so that's my next point. 45, 50. Plug in 50. 2 times 50 is 100. Minus 40 is 60, so my next point will be 50, 60. Like that. Okay. So looking at this now, we can answer the question, what would the groomer charge if your cute dog weighs 60 pounds? All right, well, there's two things we can do. We can look at my graph, which if we notice this graph doesn't go to 60. So my other option can be to go back to this T table and plug in 60, because 60 is more than 40, right? So we're going to use that equation. 2 times 60 is 120. 120 minus 40 is 80. So the groomer would charge $80 for the 60-pound dog. Okay, you could plug it into the original equation too, right here. So 60 minus 40 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. 40 plus 40 is 80. So no matter which equation you use, you're going to get the same answer. So whether you kept it the way it was or if you simplified it, no matter what, you'll get the same result. All right. Those are your only word problems in your notes. Everything else is on your worksheet. So I just want to go over a couple of things. So you have a gas station talking about how much gas Aaron's tank will hold. Every time, every word problem setup has a graph already there, and it's already scaled for you the way that it needs to be scaled. You don't have to change anything. When you get here, what are the dependent and control variables? That is really just a fancy way of asking what's your input, what's your output. Okay, so here looks like we're doing the cost of chicken per pound. Express the function of weight. So what it is you're going to have weight of the chicken, and then C of W, which is your output, is going to be the cost. Okay, so part A, for a couple of those, that's what that means. So that would be weight, and then the cost of the weight. This one, we have a snowstorm. So for this one, so your snowstorm is building on top of each other. There's a rate of the snow happening. This is one of my favorite problems, by the way. So it's based on how many hours there are. So you're going to use H for hours of your snowstorm. And then whatever you want to use, let's use, I'm going to do T for total snow. I'll do S. You can do whatever letter you want. S of H would be the amount of snow. So what goes in and what comes out? Amount of snow. So this is your H, and this is your S of H. So the hours that have gone by, and then how much snow you have. And I'll help you with this last one also with those. Cell phone company. So the amount of money it's going to cost is based off of minutes. So we're going to have M being minutes. That's your input. And I can't spell, can I? There we go. And then I believe it's the total cost, so cost after minutes for the total cost of the phone bill. Okay, so I helped you out with a couple of those. So you graph, you label. Some of them have questions after the fact, some of them don't. Like after the snowstorm, it wants to know how many snow will be there after 7 hours. With the cell phone plan, there's no extra questions, just write the piecewise function and graph. And yeah, that's about it. So if you have any other questions for me, you can let me know. And if you have questions about certain problems from this worksheet, reach out and we can do them together. I can answer any questions about it. Alrighty, so good luck and see you later.